Okay, so we're doing disk scheduling now. So for this one, um, we just wanted to go over the scan and the C scan. Yeah, sure. I'll actually go through, honestly, these last four ones because they could be a little confusing. So, like, first come, first serve is very simple. It's literally just in the order that it comes. So you go to 55, 58, 39, etc., etc., etc. And shortest seek time first is saying from your current disk head, it's 100, you find what's closest to it. So likely from each of these, you subtract it like 100 minus 55, 58, 39. Chances are this 90 looks like it would be closest. There's like a difference between 10, so you go from 100 to 90. So those are pretty simple and self-explanatory, so we're going to skip those. I had a video last semester that kind of went a little bit more in depth, so that should be fine. But let's go over the little bit more trickier ones with the scan. So scan, look, C-scan, and C-look over here. So scan is the elevator. So what that's saying is I'm starting off with 100. And it's saying that what direction am I going into? So we want to keep in mind the direction that we're going to. So this is 199 and this is 0. Assume the initial direction is towards smaller cylinder numbers, meaning that the elevator is going in this direction. So the way that the elevator works is like a real elevator. I go down to floor 0. Then I go up to floor 199. So what that translates to is we're going to go from 100 and we're going to go see every disk request that is going to be from 100 and lower. So this is going to lead us to 90. We're going to have 58, I think, is the next one. And then 55. And then we got 39. 38. And that's the end. Oh, and 18. Okay, 18 is the last one in this lower end. So for the scan, though, it has to follow till address, till 0. So it's going to go all the way here. It's then going to shoot all the way to the other end of the side. So this is still going to be counted. This is not a jump. C-scan and C-look are going to have jumps because it's a circle. So we're going to go backtrack all the way here. It's like you deliver pizzas to this part over here. Now I got to go back up the street to this part over here. Okay, and then we have from here, the next highest one is 150, then 160, then 184. Okay. 150, 160, 184. So I'm going to go from 0 to 150. This is the next destination. 160, 184. And at this point, I can stop. I've gone through every disk request. Technically, yes, if there were more, you'd go, like if there were more that came in, you'd go backwards again and then forwards and backwards. But since this is the last one, this is the end of the queue, we don't have to go any further. So you don't have to add up this last part. But you do have to add up this jump that you did from 18 to 0. That's very important. Okay, this one is look. Scan. Jeez. This one is scan, the elevator algorithm. Let me check the chat. I remember some questions mentioned in the chat before the current head. Do we need to worry about that? Absolutely. This told us that the direction is heading in the smaller direction, right over here. But if it said something like, if you're currently at 100 and the last uh, request was, I don't know, 120, let's say. Let's do a little bit of math here. If it went from 120 and it went to 100, it's going to the left, to smaller numbers. If the last request was something like 90, it's going from 90 to 100, bigger numbers. That's all it is to it. So if he asks that, that's totally game. That's fair game. All right, now C-scan on the other hand. Actually, let's do look before we get into the circles. Look is going to cut off the extra till the very end. Instead of going to 0, it's going to chop it off right here. 18 is going to be the last address, and then it's going to go this way. So because of that, it looks and it says, do I have any, if I'm starting at 100, do I have any smaller addresses? Yes. Go to 90. Yes. Go to 58. Yes. 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 18. Do I have any smaller addresses? No. You're good to go all the way forward. And the same thing here. Are there any larger? Yes. Are there any larger? Yes. Are there any larger? Nope. Cut it off. Also, at that point, you've reached the end. But you cut off that extra 18. So this part does not exist on look. For this scan, the max for the higher number was 184, right? Yes, for scan as well. This is the last term. Whether your scan, your look, your anything, but once you reach the last term, you're done. You don't have to go to the other things there, because it's like there's nothing there. So it's not like you have to do 184 to 199. Like, once you reach 184, you're done. No, literally, that's the end. You're done here. There's no reason to go to 199. See, here, technically, you still had things to look for after 18. But it went all the way to the bottom, and that way it could go back all the way to the top. Yeah, it's only max for one side. Literally, once you reach no matter what the algorithm is, once you reach the last address, the 184 was the last address, you are done. This is the end. That's it. Yeah, I know that it seems like, oh, why didn't you go all the way here? But it's just saying the disk request queue here. There's no reason to go past that. You finished. This is the end. So for scan, though, just remember, you still have to go on one side. You have to ask yourself, hey, are there still more terms? Yes. Finish going all the way to the left, then go all the way to the right. Same for C-scan. Yeah, let's do C-scan. So for C-scan, right, C-scan is going to be a circle. It's going to go follow the same route all the way to the end. Once I get to 0, it's going to jump. And a jump is not counted. It's going to jump all the way to the end of 199. I'm going to be over here now. Now I'm going to hit the other ones. I'm going to hit 184, 160, 150. Look at that. That's the last request. There's nothing else that I have to hit. This is the end now. So because of that, we got to miss out on this redundant part. This part over here was pointless for us to go back over. There's no request there. We just jumped over. The most important thing to keep in mind with C-scan or C-look or anything, do not count the jump. You are literally jumping. The disk is not scratching the surface. Yeah. So C-scan, I go all the way here, and then I jump all the way to the end. So it's end to end. And then your end point is over here, so I don't go back to 100 here. C-look, on the other hand, is going to be similar, but instead of going from the end point here to the end point there, I'm going to stop over here, and the smallest point jumps to the largest point. Oops, I should probably put that over here. So instead, it's going to essentially cut out this part and this part. So just how regular looked and said, I don't have to go any further past this 18. Circular look is saying, yeah, I don't have to go past this 18, but instead of going backwards, I'm going to just jump. And I don't have to go to this 199 because what's the point? I'm not going there. I'm going to go to the highest one on this side. So it's kind of like cutting corners a little bit. So that's the difference between the different disk requests. And yeah, the direction of the jump is determined by the last request if it's given. It's either going to tell you one of these two things. It's going to say this, the last request was whatever, and you just got to do a little bit of math. Or it's going to say the direction is going wherever. This one told us this, but this was just an example. Okay, hang on, let me just turn off my notifications here. I think it's getting annoying. I still see you guys. For the jump on the C-scan, we do track the distance of 38.0, jump 199, eliminating the drag to 150. Exactly, yes. So actually it's 18 to 0 that we eliminate. Because 38, you still have 18 after here. So this part, this jump we eliminate, and this jump we eliminate for the C look. For C scan, I'm eliminating this redundant piece over here, right? Notice that there's no dots along this over here. I have to go backwards. It's like I go down the street and then I have to go back up the street or something. Like a dead-end street, there's no outlet on the other side, so I have to go back up the way I came. That's what this is doing. This is like saying you can fly over or teleport. Let's think of portals. Someone brought up portals, and that was such a great idea. Think of a portal. This is a portal to here, right? This green dot goes to this green dot. This blue dot goes to this blue dot. Portals. We love video game references. And yeah, the whole thing here is you want to eliminate the drag. Think of it as like you're literally like scratching your record player. The more it gets scratched, the more it gets damaged. And if you have millions upon millions of calculations and whatnot, you're going to be scratching it a lot, so you don't want to have that damage. Okay, that is disk scheduling in a nutshell. Again, I kind of go more into depth with it in the other video, but this is just kind of telling the difference between, like, especially the last four, which can be kind of confusing. Any other questions? Any other questions? I see people typing in the chat. Oh, question. For C-scan, we only ignore the 0 to 199, which is the jump. Yes, exactly. This dotted line over here, we ignore it. The blue dotted line and the green dotted line. Because it can calculate it like this. 100 because it starts at 100 all the way to 0 plus 199 minus 150. That's the... Yeah, you're essentially taking like the differences between these dots, right? So here, 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 here. You ignore that, and then again you go from here to like here and here. You do like little jumps, little leapfrogs. And that's really all that you're doing. So you're skipping over that. You know, if you didn't have that, you'd have to add up this whole thing. That's like a whole waste. That's like 100, close to 100. Whatever 100 minus 18 is, like that's a lot, you know? So that's really the benefit of this. Right. All right. Did you guys want to do anything else, or otherwise I'll go back to the other messy example that was given in the chat before. I have the video kind of where I went over like pretty much the I'll go back to messy then. If you guys wanted help with the raid stuff, by the way, I'm pretty sure that the exact questions that he gave, um, I've done in like the other video that I had, because I think he only has like one or two problem sets or something. So I'd say just go through that. But yeah, let me go through the other messy example, and if that's the last problem set, like we'll just do those two and then call it a night because it is kind of getting late. Okay, that's pretty much done, and okay. Yeah, let me speed through the first one. It's a little easier, I guess. All right. Actually, question for you guys. This was given to us with write through allocate. Do you want me to do write back allocate with the modified, or do you want me to stick with this policy? You pick the policy. How about that? So you can do either write through allocate, which again you write to memory and cache. You do write back allocate, only the cache, and the modified bit, so flush when necessary. Or we have either do not allocate. So that's just saying, I think we did a couple of those examples, right? When we just said, leave the cache alone, only write to main memory. So you tell me what we're going to do here. We got one vote for write back, allocate. 2 votes. All right. 3 votes. Okay. We'll do that one then. I think you also have the answer for this one too, so let's do something different. Just give me 1 second. All right, so if that's the case, we are going to do write back allocate. Yeah, we can do that. That's totally fine. So one important thing here is memory is not like kept track of, and that's okay, because really we just really care about the cache. But if we're doing write back allocate, we really need to make sure that we do know what's happening here. I'm kind of bored of the color. I'm kind of in the mood for a teal. That's a nice color. All right, so this time, write back allocate. So again, with write back allocate, we got to keep in mind that sometimes if the cache does not equal the main memory, we might have a modified bit, right? Otherwise, if cache does equal main memory, it's either exclusive or shared. So let's get started with that. So let's see, we got our first one here, P1 store word. We're going to store into mem address 3. Okay, I don't really care what the registers are. We're not really keeping track of that, so that's not an issue. And this is going to be done in P1. So what is P1 right now? Well, we have 4 exclusive, 3 and invalid. So this is not really going to be very helpful to us. So I'm not going to be able to take it from this guy, but maybe one of our neighbors might have some help here. So this is 8 exclusive, 1 exclusive, 4 invalid, 3 exclusive. Oh, look at this. This guy has a 3. This can help me. So remember, I have a miss because it's a store write miss. What I'm going to have to do here is I'm going to need to allocate the space first because we're doing write back allocate. So I'll do that by sharing over from here. This guy's sharing and this guy is sharing. Yes, it's the same address, but it's passing over from here, right? Even though, because this is invalid, we don't care about what's in the address. All right, now that we have this value, we can do the store. And again, this is just changing it from S to M. This is because it's write back, so because of that, it would not be exclusive since it would not be equal to what's in main memory. And we have to just make sure that the invalid bit is passed over to this guy over here who shared with. All right, that's the end of that one. And now we have T7. So T7 is going to be stored into mem address 8 here. So this is going to be done in P2. Well, the good news is we already have 8, which is exclusive here. And for this guy, right, we're going to be doing a store word. So even though we're keeping with the same address, we're going to be essentially overwriting the value in there. So I don't have to reallocate the address, it's right there. But this E is going to go to an M. It's not sharing with anyone else, so I don't have to worry about anyone else getting an invalid bit. So that would be the end of that guy. 4E, 3M, 1E, 4I, 3I. Alright, then we have over here mem address 3 and P3. So this guy was just marked invalid, which kind of sucks, but we do have a 3 over here that we can share with. The issue is, what's the problem? Well, it's modified. So because of that, I have to flush the value out. This means this is going to go to main memory. So if we had the data here, we would be flushing this off to main memory. So if this is main memory, right, whatever it is, it's flushed off. The second I do that, it's back to exclusive. Great. Now that it's exclusive, I could happily share it to this guy over here. It's just a load, so I don't have to worry about overwriting it. So the person who asked, can we go through all 4 states of MESI? Absolutely. If this was a store word, this would have been becoming modified, and this would have become invalid. Look at that. We went through MESI. I think one of these does go through the whole stage, but for that, for this one, it's just a load, so we leave it at that. We don't modify it. Next one over here is a store. We're going to be doing that in P1, and that's going to be storing it into this address here, the 4. So for exclusive, right, I don't have to worry about it sharing with anyone. It just becomes modified. And everything else stays the same. 3s, 8m, 1e, 4i, 3s. Next one, we got 4 over here. This is going to be in P3. So P3 currently has a 4 invalid. So we don't care that there is a 4 in here. It's invalid, so it doesn't matter to us. 8m, and look at that, we got a 4 modified right there. So because we have a 4 modified, to get this to share over, because again, I need to allocate the place for it because it's a mess, I have to flush it to main memory. So whatever data would be going over to main memory, right? We did this kind of example last time. This one's not dealing with main memory, so we aren't dealing with data types, but if we were, that gets flushed over to main memory, just to keep that in mind. And now it's exclusive. Once it's exclusive, I can share it. This guy is shared, and we share over the address. It's just a load, no need to overwrite it, so nothing gets invalidated or anything. All right, now we're going on to P1. We got ourselves a load word, 4. So we got 4s, 3s, 8m, 1e, 4s, 3s. And this one is loading it into P1. Oh, well, it's already here. We literally don't do anything. It stays exactly the same. 4 is right here. It's S, so it's up to date, so there's no need to do anything. If it was a store, then yes, we'd have to modify this and then invalidate this. But that was only if it was a store, which it's not. So no need to worry about that. It's exactly the same. Okay, and lastly? Oh, nice. Okay, cool. Lastly, we have store word. Okay, here we go. Now we get a store. 4s, 3s, 8m, 1e. Thank goodness this is a bit of a shorter question. It's too much to write in. So now we got P2. Well, P2 has an 8 on it. I don't want an 8. I need a 4. So before I actually share it over from P1 or P3, I got to get rid of this 8, but it has a modified value. This needs to get flushed out to main memory. So again, if we were dealing with data, that data value would go to main memory. We're not dealing with the data, so no need to worry about that. From modified, it becomes exclusive. Right? It's all up to date. The only one that has the 8, it's up to date. I'm all good. Now I'm free to overwrite it. So key things to keep in mind, how to know when to overwrite it. If you have something in which you have to overwrite with a load or a store in that spot, or if you have to share the value over, then you need to flush the value out if you have a modified. So anyway, this one was exclusive, so now I'm free to overwrite. I'm going to just share over the address 4, and now it's shared. There's no need for me to invalidate the 8 or anything. It's in memory, so the value's still fine. It's just we overwrote it with something else. And because we flushed to memory, we can do that. We saved our progress, so to speak. And this would be the end of that question. I kind of went through it a little quick, but do you have any questions on this? Okay. A question in the chat. For P3 LW 4, if P1 cache 0 doesn't have 4M, then P3 4I changes to 4E, right? Which one am I dealing with? This guy over here. Okay. This was the one that you have the question on. If that didn't have 4M, then it depends on where you're getting it from. If you're getting the value from main memory, if this had a completely different address to it, if it had like a 10 on it or something, I don't know, then yes, this would be exclusive. But if this one just had exclusive and it was a 4, then it would still be sharing. So it kind of just depends. The only reason that we share it is because if something has it in the cache, I'm taking from the cache. It's like you shortcut it. You don't want to have to go all the way to the professor's office hours. You just want to ask your friend, "Yo, can I have the notes?" Yeah. And then for right through, if it was right through instead of right back, most of the M's would be E's. Correct? Exactly. Once again, right through. We write through directly to memory. So you see these flushings? Haha, flushing. Those would not be happening. Those, I mean, like, they happen automatically. They'd happen in the same thing. So instead of going to modified, it would go from modified to exclusive as soon as that value goes to main memory. So, yeah. And that's it for that one. All right. It is kind of getting late, but do you guys want me to do that last one then? Or are we feeling pretty good? Oh, that's kind of a lot of writing. Do you want me to do this last one? Or do you feel good about it? This is the one in question. Oh, shoot. Did not save that one. Okay, you know what? This is the last one. Let me finish off strong. I'll do at least half of it. How about that? Yeah, because I do kind of want to go over this, because if he does say that someone said that the data part is supposed to make a comeback. We did not have that last semester. But I don't know. He changes things up every semester. Yeah, so anyway, let's do this one really quickly, and I'm just gonna do it on whatever they right back allocate. Okay, so now we can. Okay, I guess we could do that. Alright. So this one is a little bit different because we actually have the main memory and everything to keep in mind here. So this is main memory. I just want to be make sure everyone's good with this. This is main memory. These are our actual addresses. So when I said over here, flush it to main memory, I'm literally saying whatever that modified is, flush it up here. So let's go over one of these because I think that'll make it clearer. So again, this is our initial up here, and we're going to do P2, this guy over here, load immediate. So load immediate is not going to make any change. Yeah, that's right. I went through this problem. So load immediate won't have any change. And the reason for this is because this is not an address. When we're doing our cache, we're only dealing with addresses. Because we're not dealing with addresses here, we're dealing with an immediate value. we are just not gonna like update our cache at all. This is not saying memory address 8. If it was, then yeah, we would, but because it's not, there's no change. So I'm not gonna update anything there. But correct me if I'm wrong. By the way, if any of these points, yeah. All right, so then we have over here, this is memory address 8. So this one over here, we're actually gonna have to do something with. So what is going on? P1 is gonna go into memory address 8, and what's our size of a cache? Okay, well, whatever, cache size 4, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. So this time it's not 2, so I'm going to take 8 mod 4, and that's going to equal 0. So that means it's going to go into the 0 space. All right, well, what's in there right now is a 4 in an invalid state with data 14. And I see in my other cache here, I have 8 modified 45. Wow, what a coincidence. We have 8 right there. But there's one obstacle that's preventing us from sharing. This is modified. This is an example in which I must flush this data out to here. And what position is it in? Well, position 8. So that means instead of 77, this is going to be changed to, what's the data value? 45. So do you see how, because this is modified, this is the actual visual thing of that whole flushing part that I was talking about in the last one. I said, I'm going to take 45, that's just the value of 8, address 8, and I'm putting that into my main memory. So the original value of address 8 was 77. Now it's 45. Now it's exclusive. Exclusive says main memory and cache are the same. I'm free to share. So now this goes from exclusive to shared, and now I'm able to share this guy, and the data is 45. Now though, that was the allocation part. I have to do the writing part. Question, when we flush it out, it goes from M to E, correct. Why? Because E says cache is equal to main memory. Modified is saying cache is not equal to main memory. So because of that, we have to save our progress. That's really what we're doing. We're saving our progress. That's kind of what we're doing here. All right. So the next one over here is saying, the next part of that same question is saying we have to store it now. So we're going to store whatever is in T1 and put it there. Well, T1 actually was put an 8 from this previous problem. So I really should keep track of this one. Usually he'll give like the registers themselves too, like those values, but if not, then just follow with whatever the default is or anything. But remember, load immediate is saying this 8 goes into this register. It's the same thing as we did before on that reading the code lines and stuff, but in this case it's just an immediate value. So T1 is 8, so what are we doing? We're storing the value 8 into memory address 8. Right, easy, right? This goes from S to modified, and that's an 8. I leave it as modified because, again, right back, and I am allocating. But again, anytime that I have a write, I'm going to have to send an invalid bit to anything here. Wow, look at that. We went through MESI. All of the 4 states. So this is invalid now. It has a 45 and it is invalid. That is that part. Okay. So now we have the next one. Any questions about that, by the way? I hope that wasn't confusing or anything. Right, so now we have this one over here. In P2, we want to load word address 3 in there, right? So I'm honestly too lazy to change the rest of them, so I'm not going to rewrite them every time. But yeah. Now we're going to have the address 3 into P2. So address 3, when I mod that by 4, it's going to give me 3, right? So what's currently in my 3 block? Well, in P1 I have 3M8, and in this one I have 3I12. I'm putting this into P2, but this is invalid, so I'm not looking at that. I have it over here. Okay, well, this is invalid. This is modified over here. So I need to flush this out to main memory before we go any further, before I share it. So this 3 has a value of 8. So I go to its address over here. So instead of 12, this gets overridden to data value 8. Now that it's saved, it's exclusive, everything is all good. And now that it's exclusive, I can now share it. And the value gets changed to 8. So this is 3, that's shared, and that's 8. And that's that one. Okay, you know what, I'm just going to finish this problem. There's only 3 more left. Okay, next one, P1, right? This is going to say load in 1 into T1. Okay, well, 1 is going to be address 1 over here. And what is that? Well, I have a 1, I'm taking it from up here, 1 modified 66, and then 1, 5, exclusive 25. So what am I doing? I'm loading this into P1. Well, this one already has it in here, right? In the modified state. So that means this is already up to date. I don't have to share this with anything, so I can actually leave this alone. There's no reason for it to be overridden because it's loaded in there already. It's already in my thing, it's modified. So because of that, I can actually keep this the same. I don't have to flush this value out or anything. I would have to flush it out if I was writing or if I was sharing to the other guy, but this is fine. This is like the only exclusive value there, so I don't have to worry about flushing it out. So this is a hit, no change. Okay, this one's going to have a change though. P2, store word. Now I'm storing T1 into mem address 1. So 1M66. This is a 5, an exclusive 25. Now I need to get this one address into P2. And this is a sign I need to flush it. I gotta share it. How am I gonna share it if I don't have that? I gotta flush out this modified value. So 1 is going to have the value of 66. I'm gonna put that into my data over here. Okay, and then this is now exclusive. It's all good now. I can now share this value over here. This is exclusive on this side, this 5. So I can just overwrite it. There's no problem. It's already in memory. There's no worry about saving it. So this is going to be shared with a 1. And this data also needs to be shared right from there. Now I'm free to do my write. And I once again have to write T1 into there. And what was T1? I should have kept track of that, shouldn't I? T1 had the value of what was in address 1. So address 1 at this point had a 66 in it. So that meant T1 has a 66. So in this case, I'm storing T1 into address 1, so there was no change there, but we still have to go through the steps. So with that being said, P2, this one over here. Okay, just like we did before, we gotta go through the steps. Going from shared, this becomes modified. The 66 is replaced with another 66. Yes, it's the same, but it's whatever. And this guy is now invalid. So once again, we went through MESI. So just like how we did last time, We have to go through all of the steps in this case. It's a right, it's always going to be a right miss. So even though it's the same exact value, we are, because the 66 that's coming from that T1, we just have to overwrite that. So we share it, we had it shared, right? We allocated it. This one got the new 66. Think of 66 with a star. And this one is invalidated. And everything else stays the same. And then lastly over here, P2 store word 5 T1. Okay, well this once again is going to deal with this guy over here, right? 1 M and then we had 66. Okay, because again 5 mod 4 is going to give me 1. I need to put it back in that spot. So this modified says I got to flush it out. So I'm going to go back up here. I'm going to record the 66. Yes, it's the same, but that doesn't really matter. And now it's exclusive. I can now overwrite this with the 5. And this 5 is going to be written with T1. Actually, well, first we would take the 5 out from memory, right? Because we have to, there's nowhere else that has it. So it comes from memory. So what value does it have? Well, it has a 25. So let me put that in. 5 exclusive 25. That's literally what we had here before. So I know we're good. Now that I did the allocation, I can do the write. What am I writing? Well, the value of T1, which was still 66, gets overwritten. So I'm going to change 25 to 66, and the E will become a modified yet again. So in the end, this will finish off being 5, but modified with the value 66. We don't flush out that 66, but if we had another load or something that required me to share it over, then I put the 66 right there in the 5 slot. That's the end of the problem. Okay, I hope I didn't lose you guys, but I hope that helped, and yeah, that's kind of the end of that. Do you have any questions? Yeah, no problem. Happy to help. I really hope this was able to help, and I hope that you guys feel a bit more prepared for your exam, especially with MESI. And again, all this is filmed, all this is recorded. The first one should probably be on YouTube by now, if you want to rewatch it or something. I recommend just take a break and go to bed and do it tomorrow or something. But hey, if you want to review something real quick, go ahead. This should be up soon too. I think this one was only an hour, the other one was 2 hours, so this should be up in a little bit too. So yeah, if you guys have any questions in, like, I don't know, the next however long you have till the exam, I guess 24 hours or so, I don't know. Just like you could ping me, or ping anyone really in there, and yeah, I'm happy to answer any questions. When are tutors for 343 available in the Learning Commons? Great question. So you can go to the Learning Commons website, and I'll put that in the chat actually. And you could take a look there. You could filter by tutor, by the subject and everything. I can't really say for sure because I'm not really sure who else tutors 343. I know a couple other people do. I'm the main one that tutors for Vivek's course, just because his course is very different than others. So, like, if you need help, like, if I'm free, I think I might be honestly fully booked tomorrow, but, like, you guys could still ping me here. If you need help in the future, though, like, feel free to book whatever you need. And also, I'm gonna try to get you guys a final exam review for Vivek. He doesn't have an actual final, it's just an exam 3, so that's not cumulative, which is great. But yeah, I'm gonna try to get you guys, like, an actual final review. This one just got kind of messed up because the professor never responded to the Learning Commons emails. So yeah, if you want to ask him in person, that might make him a little more apt to do it, perhaps. But I'm fine to help you guys out. So, okay, I'm gonna stop the recording.